the smartest giant in town. Julia Donaldson, Axel Scheffler. George was a giant, the scruffiest giant in town. He always wore the same pair of old brown sandals and the same old patched-up gown. "I wish I wasn't the scruffiest giant in town," he said sadly. But one day, George noticed a new shop. It was full of smart clothes, so he bought a smart shirt, a smart pair of trousers, a smart belt, a smart stripy tie, some smart socks with diamonds up the sides, and a pair of smart, shiny shoes. "Now I'm the smartest giant in town," he said proudly. George left his old clothes behind in the shop. He was about to go home when he heard a sound. On the pavement stood a giraffe who was sniffling sadly. "What's the matter?" asked George.
"It's my neck," said the giraffe. "It's so very long and so very cold. I wish I had a long, warm scarf."
"Cheer up," said George, and he took off his stripy tie. "It didn't match my socks anyway," he said as he wound it round and round the giraffe's neck. It made a wonderful scarf. "Thank you," said the giraffe. As George strode towards home, he sang to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, but look me up and down. I'm the smartest giant in town." George came to a river. On a boat stood a goat who was bleating loudly. "What's the matter?" asked George.
"It's my sail," said the goat. "It blew away in the storm. I wish I had a strong new sail for my boat."
"Cheer up," said George, and he took off his new white shirt. "It kept coming untucked anyway," he said as he tied it to the mast of the goat's boat. It made a magnificent sail.
"Thank you," said the goat.
George strode on, singing to himself. "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. But look me up and down. I'm the smartest giant in town." George came to a tiny ruined house. Beside the house stood a white mouse with lots of baby mice. They were all squeaking. "What's the matter?" asked George.
It's our house,
squeaked the mother mouse.
It burned down and now we have nowhere to live. I wish we had a nice new house.
"Cheer up," said George, and he took off one of his shiny shoes. "It was giving me blisters anyway," he said, as the mouse and her baby scrambled inside. The shoe made a perfect home for them.
"Thank you,"
they squeaked. George had to hop along the road now, but he didn't mind. As he hopped, he sang to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town." George came to a campsite. Beside a tent stood a fox who was crying. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's my sleeping bag," said the fox. "I dropped it in a puddle. I wish I had a warm, dry sleeping bag." "Cheer up," said George, and he took off one of his socks with diamonds up the sides. "It was tickling my toes anyway," he said as the fox snuggled into it. "It made a very fine sleeping bag."
"Thank you,"
said the fox. George hopped on, singing to himself. "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of my socks is a bed for a fox. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town." George came to a big squelchy bog. Beside the bog stood a dog who was howling. "What's the matter?" asked George.
"It's this bog,"
said the dog.
"I need to get across, but I keep getting stuck in the mud. I wish there was a safe, dry path."
"Cheer up," said George, and he took off his smart new belt. "It was squashing my tummy anyway," he said as he laid it down over the bog. It made an excellent path.
"Thank you,"
said the dog.
Woohoo!
The wind started to blow, but George didn't mind. He hopped on, singing to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of my socks is a bed for a fox. My belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog, but..." "My trousers are falling down. I'm the coldest giant in town." Suddenly, George felt sad and shivery and not at all smart. He stood on one foot and thought, "I'll have to go back to the shop and buy some more clothes," he decided. He turned round and hopped all the way back to the shop. but when he got there, it was closed. "Oh no," cried George. He sank down onto the doorstep and a tear ran down his nose. He felt as sad as all the animals he had met on his way home. Then, out of the corner of his eyes, he saw a bag with something familiar poking out of the top. George took a closer look. "My gown!" he yelled. "My dear old gown and sandals!" George put them on. They felt wonderfully comfortable. "I'm the coziest giant in town!" he cried, and he danced back home along the road. Outside his front door stood all the animals he had helped. They were carrying an enormous present. "Come on, George," they said. "Open it." George untied the ribbon. Inside was a beautiful gold paper crown and a card. "Look inside the card, George," said the animals. George put the crown on his head and opened the card. Inside it said, "You gave your scarf to a cold giraffe, your shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat, your shoe is a house for a little white mouse, one of your socks is a bed for a fox, your belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog, so here is a very fine crown to go with the sandals and gown of the kindest giant in town."
The
Gruffalo.
Julia Donaldson, Axel Scheffler. A mouse took a stroll through the deep, dark wood. A fox saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. "Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come and have lunch in my underground house."
"It's terribly kind of you, fox, but no, I'm going to have lunch with a Gruffalo."
A Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo?
A Gruffalo, why, didn't you know? He has terrible tusks, and terrible claws, and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws.
Where are you meeting him?
Here, by these rocks, and his favorite food is roasted fox.
Roasted fox? I'm off, Fox said. Goodbye, little mouse, and away he sped.
Silly old fox, doesn't he know there's no such thing as a Gruffalo?
On went the mouse through the deep, dark wood. An owl saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good.
Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come and have tea in my treetop house.
It's frightfully nice of you, Owl, but no, I'm going to have tea with a Gruffalo.
A Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo?
A Gruffalo, why, didn't you know? He has knobbly knees and turned out toes and a poisonous wart at the end of his nose.
Where are you meeting him?
Here by the stream. And his favorite food is owl ice cream.
Owl ice cream. Too-hoo, too-hoo. Goodbye, little mouse.
And away Owl flew.
Silly old owl, doesn't he know? There's no such thing as a Gruffalo.
On went the mouse through the deep dark wood. A snake saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come for a feast in my log pile house.
It's wonderfully good of you, Snake, but no, I'm having a feast with a Gruffalo.
A Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo?
A Gruffalo? Why, didn't you know? His eyes are orange. His tongue is black. He has purple prickles all over his back.
Where are you meeting him?
Here by this lake. And his favorite food is scrambled snake.
Scrambled snake? It's time I hid. Goodbye, little mouse. And away Snake slid.
Silly old snake, doesn't he know there's no such thing as a Gruffalo? Oh! But who is this creature with terrible claws and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws? He has snobby knees and turned out toes, and a poisonous wart at the end of his nose. His eyes are orange, his tongue is black. He has purple prickles all over his back. Oh, help! Oh no, it's a Gruffalo!
My favorite food,
The Gruffalo said.
You'll taste good on a slice of bread.
Good? Said the mouse. Don't call me good. I'm the scariest creature in this wood. Just walk behind me and soon you'll see. Everyone is afraid of me.
All right,
Said the Gruffalo, bursting with laughter.
You go ahead and I'll follow after.
They walked and walked till the Gruffalo said,
I hear a hiss in the leaves ahead.
It's Snake,
said the mouse.
Why, Snake, hello!
Snake took one look at the Gruffalo. Oh, crumbs, he said. Goodbye, little mouse. And off he slid into his log pile house.
You see?
Said the mouse.
I told you so.
Amazing,
Said the Gruffalo. They walked some more till the Gruffalo said,
I hear a hoot in the trees ahead.
It's Owl,
said the mouse.
Why, Owl, hello!
Owl took one look at the Gruffalo.
Oh dear,
He said,
goodbye little mouse.
and off he flew to his treetop house.
You see, said the mouse, I told you so.
Astounding,
Said the Gruffalo. They walked some more till the Gruffalo said,
I can hear feet on the path ahead.
It's Fox,
said the mouse.
Why, Fox, hello!
Fox took one look at the Gruffalo.
Oh, help,
He said,
goodbye little mouse.
and off he ran to his underground house.
Well, Gruffalo,
Said the mouse.
you see, everyone is afraid of me, but now my tummy's beginning to rumble. My favorite food is Gruffalo crumble.
Gruffalo crumble.
The Gruffalo said, and quick as the wind he turned and fled. All was quiet in the deep dark wood. The mouse found a nut, and the nut was good.
Yummy.
The Gruffalo's Child. Julia Donaldson, Axel Scheffler. The Gruffalo said that no Gruffalo should ever set foot in the deep dark wood.
Why not? Why not?
Because if you do, the big bad mouse will be after you. I met him once,
Said the Gruffalo.
I met him a long time ago.
What does he look like? Tell us, Dad. Is he terribly big and terribly bad?
I can't quite remember.
The Gruffalo said. Then he thought for a minute and scratched his head.
The big bad mouse is terribly strong, and his scaly tail is terribly long. His eyes are like pools of terrible fire, and his terrible whiskers are tougher than wire.
One snowy night when the Gruffalo snored, the Gruffalo's child was feeling bored. The Gruffalo's child was feeling brave, so she tiptoed out of the Gruffalo cave. The snow fell fast and the wind blew wild. Into the wood went the Gruffalo's child. A trail in the snow. Whose is this trail and where does it go? A tail poked out of the log pile house. Could this be the tail of the big bad mouse? Oh! Out slid the creature. His eyes were small, and he didn't have whiskers. No, none at all.
You're not the mouse.
Not I, said the snake. He's down by the lake, eating Gruffalo cake. The snow fell fast and the wind blew wild. I'm not scared, said the Gruffalo's child. Marks in the snow. Whose are these claw marks? Where do they go? Two eyes gleamed out of the treetop house. Could these be the eyes of the big bad mouse? Oh! Oh! Down flew the creature. His tail was short, and he didn't have whiskers of any sort.
You're not the mouse.
Not I, but he's somewhere nearby, eating Gruffalo pie.
The snow fell fast and the wind blew wild. I'm not scared, said the Gruffalo's child. A track in the snow. Who is this track and where does it go? Whiskers at last, and an underground house. Could this be the home of the big bad mouse? Oh! Out slunk the creature. His eyes weren't fiery, his tail wasn't scaly, his whiskers weren't wiry.
You're not the mouse.
Oh no, not me. He's under a tree, drinking Gruffalo tea. It's all a trick, said the Gruffalo's child, as she sat on a stump where the snow lay piled.
I don't believe in the big bad mouse.
But here comes a little one out of his house. Not big, not bad, but a mouse at the least. You'll taste good as a midnight feast. Yum, yum.
Wait, said the mouse. Before you eat, there's a friend of mine that you ought to meet. If you'll let me hop onto a hazel twig, I'll beckon my friend so bad and big.
The Gruffalo's child unclenched her fist. The big bad mouse! So he does exist! The mouse hopped into the hazel tree. He beckoned, then said,
Just wait and see.
Out came the moon. It was bright and round. A terrible shadow fell onto the ground. Who is this creature so big, bad, and strong? His tail and his whiskers are terribly long. His ears are enormous, and over his shoulder he carries a nut as big as a boulder. Ah! Ah! The big bad mouse! Ah! Yelled the Gruffalo's child. The mouse jumped down from the twig and smiled.
Ah, oh,
Prints in the snow. Whose are these footprints? Where do they go? The footprints led to the Gruffalo cave. Where the Gruffalo's child was a bit less brave. The Gruffalo's child was a bit less bored. And the Gruffalo snored and snored and snored. Julia, Donaldson, Axel, Scheffler, the Snail and the Whale. This is the tale of a tiny snail and the great, big, grey-blue humpback whale. This is a rook as black as soot, and this is a snail with an itchy foot. The sea snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. As she gazed, she sniffled and sighed.
the sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail,
said the tiny snail. These are the other snails in the flock, who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock, and said to the snail with the itchy foot,
"Be quiet, don't wriggle, sit still, stay put."
But the tiny sea snail sighed and sniffed, then cried,
"I've got it, I'll hitch a lift."
This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail that looped and curled and said, "Lift wanted around the world." This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright. A humpback whale immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves. And this is the tale of the humpback whale. He held it out of the starlit sea and said to the snail,
"Come sail with me."
This is the sea so wild and free that carried the whale and the snail on his tail to towering icebergs and far-off lands. With fiery mountains and golden sands. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed. The tiny snail on the tail of the whale. These are the caves beneath the waves, where stripy fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swam round the whale and the snail on his tail. This is the sky, so vast and high, sometimes sunny and blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, with zigzag lightning, flashing and frightening the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. And she gazed at the sky, the sea, the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand. She gazed and gazed, amazed by it all, and she said to the whale, "I feel so small." But then came the day. The whale lost his way. These are the speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim too close to the shore. This is the tide slipping away. And this is the whale lying beached in a bay. "Quick, off the sand, back to sea!" cried the snail.
I can't move on land. I'm too big,
moaned the whale. The snail felt helpless and terribly small. Then, "I've got it!" she cried and started to crawl. "I must not fail," said the tiny snail. This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, "Sit straight, don't talk." This is the board as black as soot. And this is the snail with the itchy foot.
A snail! A snail!
The teacher turns pale.
Look!
Say the children,
It's leaving a trail!
this is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail saying, "Save the whale!" These are the children running from school. Fetching the firemen, digging a pool. Squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. This is the tide coming into the bay. And these are the villagers shouting hooray as the whale and the snail travel safely away. Back to the dock and the flock on the rock, who said,
How time's flown!
and
Haven't you grown?
and the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves, and how the snail, so small and frail, with her looping, curling, silvery trail, saved the life of the humpback whale. Then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on curled the snail after snail after snail. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of the gray-blue humpback whale. Room on the Broom. Julia Donaldson, Alex Scheffler. The witch had a cat and a very tall hat, and long ginger hair which she wore in a plait. How the cat purred and how the witch grinned as they sat on their broomstick and flew through the wind. But how the witch wailed and how the cat spat when the wind blew so wildly it blew off the hat. "Down!" cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the hat, but no hat could be found. Then out of the bushes and thundering paws there bounded a dog with the hat in his jaws. He dropped it politely, then eagerly said, as the witch put the hat firmly down on her head, "I'm a dog as keen as can be. Is there room on the broom for a dog like me?" "Yes," cried the witch, and the dog clambered on. The witch tapped the broomstick and whoosh, they were gone. Over the fields and the forest they flew. The dog wagged his tail and the stormy wind blew. The witch laughed aloud and held on to her head, but away blew the bow from her long ginger plait. "Down!" cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the bow, but no bow could be found. Then out from a tree with an ear-splitting shriek, there flapped a green bird with the bow in her beak. She dropped it politely and bent her head low, then said, as the witch tied her plait in a bow, "I'm a bird as green as can be. Is there room on the broom for a bird like me?" "Yes," cried the witch, so the bird fluttered on. The witch tapped the broomstick and whoosh, they were gone. Over the reeds and the rivers they flew. The birds shrieked with glee, and the stormy wind blew. They shot through the sky to the back of beyond. The witch clutched her bow, but let go of her wand. "Down!" cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the wand, but no wand could be found. Then all of a sudden, from out of a pond, leaped a dripping wet frog with a dripping wet wand. He dropped it politely, then said with a croak, as the witch dried her wand on the fold of her cloak, "I'm a frog as clean as can be. Is there room on the broom for a frog like me?" "Yes," said the witch, so the frog bounced on. The witch tapped the broomstick and whoosh, they were gone. Over the moors and the mountains they flew. The frog jumped with joy and the broom snapped in two. Down fell the cat and the dog and the frog. Down they went tumbling into a bog. The witch's half broomstick flew into a cloud, and the witch heard a roar that was scary and loud. "I'm a dragon as mean as can be, and I'm planning to have witch and chips for my tea." "No!" cried the witch, flying higher and higher. The dragon flew after her, breathing out fire. "Help!" cried the witch, flying down to the ground. She looked all around, but no help could be found. The dragon drew near, and licking his lips, said, "Maybe this once I'll have a witch without chips." But just as he planned to begin on his feast, from out of a ditch rose a horrible beast. It was tall, dark and sticky, and feathered and fur. It had 4 frightful heads. It had wings like a bird. And its terrible voice, when it started to speak, was a yowl and a growl and a croak and a shriek. It dripped and it squawkled as it strode from the ditch. And it said to the dragon, "Buzz off, that's my witch." The dragon drew back and he started to shake. "I'm sorry," he spluttered. "I made a mistake. It's nice to have met you, but now I must fly." And he spread out his wings and was off through the sky. Then down flew the bird and down jumped the frog. Down climbed the cat and "Phew," said the dog. And "Thank you, oh thank you," the grateful witch cried. "Without you, I'd be in the dragon's inside." Then she filled up her cauldron and said with a grin, "Find something, everyone. Throw something in." So the frog found a lily, the cat found a corn, the bird found a twig, and the dog found a bone. They threw them all in, and the witch stirred them well. And while she was stirring, she muttered a spell. Iggity ziggity saggity zoom! Then out rose
A truly magnificent
Broom was seized for the witch and the cat and the dog, and as for the bird and a shower for the frog. "Yes!" cried the witch. As they all clambered on, the witch tapped the broomstick and whoosh, they were gone. Stickman, Julia Donaldson, Axel Scheffler, by the best-selling creators of Room on the Broom. Stickman lives in the family tree with his stick lady love and their stick children 3. One day he wakes early and goes for a jog. "Stickman, oh Stickman, beware of the dog." A stick, barks the dog, "an excellent stick, the right kind of stick for my favorite trick. I'll fetch it and drop it and fetch it, and then I'll drop it and fetch it and drop it again." "I'm not a stick, why can't you see? I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman, that's me. And I want to go home to the family tree." A note says, "Dogs must be kept on the lead." At last the game's over and Stickman is freed. He sets off for home with a hop and a twirl. "Stickman, oh Stickman, beware of the girl." "A stick," cries the girl with a smile on her face. "I bet you the stick will come first in the race." Has everyone got one? Get ready to throw. It's 1, 2, 3, into the river they go. I'm not a stick, why can't they see? I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman, that's me, and I'm heading away from the family tree. Stickman is floating, he floats on and on. "Stickman, oh Stickman, beware of the swan." "A twig," says the swan. "This twig is the best. Is the right kind of twig to weave into my nest." I'm not a twig, why can't they see? I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman, that's me. and I long to be back in the family tree. The nest is deserted and Stickman is free. He drifts down the river and sails out to sea. He tosses and turns till the frolicking foam washes him up on the beach far from home. Here comes a dad with a spade in his hand. Stickman, oh Stickman, beware of the sand. A mast, yells the dad. An excellent mast. Hooray! There's a flag on our castle at last. I'm not a mast for a silly old flag, or a sword for a knight, or a hook for a bag. I'm not a pen, I'm not a bow, I'm not a bat or a boomerang. No, I'm Stickman, oh Stickman, beware of the snow. Here comes a boy in a warm woolly scarf. An arm for my snowman, he says with a laugh. I'm not an arm, can nobody see? I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman, I'm Stickman, that's me. Will I ever get back to the family tree? Stickman is lonely, Stickman is lost, Stickman is frozen and covered in frost. Stickman is weary, his eyes start to close. He stretches and yawns and lies down for a doze. He can't hear bells or the sweet singing chore. Or the voice sing, here's a good stick for the fire. Stickman is laying asleep in the grate. Can anyone wake him before it's too late? He dreams of his kids and his stick lady love. Then suddenly wakes. What's that noise up above? It starts as a chuckle that turns to a shout. Ho, 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 I'm stuck, get me out. A stuck man? A stuck man? Now who could that be? Don't worry, cries Stickman. I'll soon set you free.
A scratch and a scrape and a flurry of soot.
A wiggle, a jiggle, and out pokes a foot. A shove and a nudge and a hop and a jump. And Santa falls into the room with a thump. Stickman, oh Stickman, you excellent friend. Thanks, thanks a million, thanks without end. Then Stickman helps Santa deliver the toys to fast asleep girls and to fast asleep boys. Faster and faster they fly through the snow, till Santa says, only one chimney to go. Stick lady's lonely, the children are sad. It won't feel like Christmas without their stick dad. They toss and turn in the family bed. But what is that clattering sound overhead? Someone is tumbling into their house. Is it a bird or bat